In this video, we're going to be comparing the White Witch and Satan once again, and focusing this week on using different sentence openers. Okay, here is an outline that a student made, and he says that both the White Witch and Satan tempt when people are susceptible to temptation. Okay. The example is when Jesus was fasting in the wilderness for 40 days, then Satan came. Edmund was hungry and cold and alone and was given Turkish delight and hot chocolate and then tempted to betray his family. Once again, there was both alone. And that both Satan and the White Witch twist the words of trusted people. Okay, so we're not really going to focus on content here. The goal for this week is that each sentence has a different opener than the sentence before or after it. Doesn't mean you have to use all different openers, and you need to have, at least 6 sentences. So this student starts with the easiest opener, which is a subject opener. Satan and the White Witch is a compound subject in both. Tempt is the verb, okay? People at times when they are most susceptible to temptation. Then we have a new type of opener here. It says after. After is a preposition, okay? After Jesus had spent 40 days fasting, Satan tempted him with food. Okay, now I notice there's a comma here. When you have a preposition opener, if it's 5 words or more, you need a comma. Or sometimes when it just really seems there's a pause. So this is correct. Okay, now we have a sentence that starts with when. When is an adverbial clause from our www.asia.wub. So when Edmund was hungry and cold the first time he was in Narnia, with these you always use a comma. So here's your comma. And you'll notice the comma always comes right before the subject of the sentence. I kind of say that it is kind of alerting your reader, whoa, here comes the main part of the sentence. This was extra, a dependent clause, extra information, comma, here's the subject, okay? So, when Edmund was hungry and cold the first time he visited in Narnia, the witch tempted him with Turkish delight, okay? Very good. Now we need another type of sentence. We see an ly, and ly is almost always an adverb. So here we have an adverbial opener. Craftily strategizing. Okay. Satan tempted Jesus when he was alone. Okay. Then we have your subject opener again, which is okay because it isn't right after another subject opener. The White Witch also tempted Edmund when he was alone. Now we have answering. Answering is an ing opener. It's called a participial phrase. Answering Satan with scripture, Jesus avoided being manipulated by Satan's lies. Okay, very good. Here I see another ly, so we have an adverb opener. Undoubtedly foolish. Edmund was completely pulled in by the witch. Okay, more open there. And here's a subject opener. The witch and Satan both tempted people when they were alone and easily tempted. So this student has fulfilled the opener requirements. One thing I did notice, though, is that this student was writing with the openers as he wrote. And usually his content, his thought processes are actually a little bit better and deeper. So I actually encourage you to just write as you normally would to get your thoughts down, thinking through the outline and, just, good thoughts and really deeply thinking about your comparison, and just write it down. If it's all subject openers, that's fine, because you can easily fit in your openers afterwards. But, also this is another way to do it, and no big deal there either. So this last slide I want you to use as you write. It just simply lists your openers. When you rewrite, after you've written it and you're rewriting it, making these openers, with next to each sentence, I want a number, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, telling me what type of sentence you think it is. Okay? And actually, I need to check this student's. One that I didn't go over is a very short sentence. So if he had a subject opener, but it was only 2 to 5 words, that's actually a special type of sentence that kind of alerts the reader to that this is an important point. Okay? So, how to tell you to do this? Okay, basically write your story and then look through, and especially where you see lots of subject openers in a row, you can often combine 2 sentences into one sentence by maybe making one into a preposition opener or an ing opener or a clausal opener. And then you've got one long, really good sentence. I should probably kind of see if I can mark that for you somehow. Okay, so if you use the preposition, oh, that's a dark line, the ing or the clausal, you can often combine sentences. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you some other things. Okay. The other things are if you use an ly, whoops, let me see if I've got my writer here. If you use an ly, that can just fancy a sentence up. It's just an adverb at the beginning of a sentence. So those are pretty easy to put on. You would kind of look for an active verb, maybe a verb you underlined as a really good verb, and then add in your ly adverb at the beginning of the sentence to count it, and you have that one. Okay? Then another trick is if you find a subject opener, see about just switching it to a very short sentence that really stands out, maybe with an exclamation point at the end, and actually shortening the sentence will vary your writing quite a bit. And if you have any problems, email your paper to me, call me, come over, and we'll work on it. Just thought of one more thing. This being invisible opener, okay? These are fun to do. It's an ing opener where you don't write this word being, but it's kind of there. Often your sentence will actually start with an ed word in this case. So like the actual opener with the invisible being would be being uneducated. Edmund easily fell for the White Witch's, tactics. Okay? But you wouldn't say the being. You'd leave it invisible. You'd say uneducated, see the ed on the end of that word, of Narnia's rules. Edmund fell for the White Witch's tactics. Okay? So that's another way to do it too. So you can almost have an ed opener or an ing, but they're both considered ing openers.